I think certainly we were influenced by Karl Foerster in Germany and Nien Ruys, who did gardens very similar to what we were doing. A different scale, much smaller scale, because they were working in Europe, but and much smaller gardens. I think the thing about our work was it was an American scale, and that's why it was called the New American Garden. It was a scale that no one had really seen before and made big news because of that. Karl Foerster was the first, he was a nurseryman, and he was the first person to design with grasses, and became very famous because of that. He found that grasses could be used in an ornamental way. And he was on a train. The story is that he was on a train going to Denmark when he saw a Calamagrostis growing along the railroad tracks. And he pulled the chain and stopped the train and got out and pulled out the grass, the Calamagrostis. And that's the Calamagrostis Karl Foerster. And now it's widely used. I mean, everybody's using it. But it's beautiful. It's very wheat-like. And it's erect and very straight and vertical. So we went to Potsdam shortly after the wall came down and visited Karl Foerster's wife, who was still living then, had tea, and looked at the Karl Foerster garden, which was very beautiful. It was perennials, Japanese maples, grasses, and it had a lovely lily pool in the middle. And it was simply wonderful and a great inspiration. Now, another person who was inspired by Karl Foerster was Roberto Burle Marx. And I visited Roberto in 1987 for 3 weeks, and that was sort of a design life-changing experience. It was simply wonderful. Roberto was effusive in his description of his gardens. And he took me into the mountains to see several private gardens, and we also went to his house for a big Sunday party that he had every 2 weeks.